All right, we are soon going to be in touch with our reporters in Nkandla, Ayanda Mhlongo, Samkele, Maseko, Simphiwe, Makhanya. They're working the story for us. They'll get us the very latest with regards to what's happening in Nkandla. Remember, we are expecting former President Jacob Zuma to address his supporters at 6 p.m. today. I did see a tweet from the Jayed-Leigh Zuma Foundation saying that following the announcement by the ConCourt that it will hear the rescission case, President Zuma has summoned his legal team to meet him urgently in Nkandla this Sunday at 2 p.m. prior to his address, and I'm quoting here, address to the nation at 6 p.m. The legal team will also advise him for his presser. So, presser is how we in the business call a media briefing. We still expect him to address his supporters at 6 p.m. We haven't heard anything different until this stage. We will bring you the latest with regards to the story. Remember, we have eyes on all parts of KwaZulu-Natal. N2, KZN, a convoy of more than 20 vehicles with, we understand, ANC members moving along the N2 from Durban towards Nkandla to offer support to former President Jacob Zuma. Jayed-Leigh Paulse is live for us there. JLP, what are you witnessing there now?
Well, Blaine, we have just passed Nkandla. Now we are making our way to Ishowe, and the motorcade has grown significantly. Now several cars have joined as they have their hazards on, trailing each other, making the long trek to Nkandla. A show of support happening here. We have hashtagged Durban to Nkandla, that is what they're calling it. But the lawlessness on the roads, Blaine, evident, you can see it, trying to block traffic as much as possible. I'm told that we're going to be stopping in Ishowe, where they're going to meet more supporters as they make their way to Nkandla. As you can see on your screens right now, a lot of supporters trailing each other, flags being hoisted outside of the windows. We've also seen several police officers driving by. I am certain, most certain, that they're going to go to the next toll gate that's after Ishowe to try and see if they can't stop this behavior on the roads at the moment. Blaine, I am told that you did speak to the Minister of Police, Bekele, and there are also reports coming out that we're going to see the Brigadier Vishnaidu being sent to Nkandla as well. But these visuals coming from the N2 right now as this motorcade proceeds to Nkandla. We're going to be stopping shortly, I am told, by the organizer Ntando Kutrayo. We'll try and speak to him as well and see what the plan is once they get to Nkandla. What is going to happen, as well as who else is going to join this motorcade as we traverse through the northern parts of KwaZulu-Natal. Blaine.
Jayed-Leigh, so what are we seeing here? This is, correct me if I'm wrong, a two-way street, isn't it? Are you seeing a lot of close calls here?
This indeed is a two-way street, Blaine. I'm going to tell you that we are sitting at the back of a bakkie at the moment, and we've also had to keep our distance from this motorcade happening right now. A lot of cars are dodging, as you can see right now. Cars that are making their way towards Nkandla have had to pull on the side because what they are doing is basically illegal and quite shocking, frankly. We've seen police driving past them, not too sure why they aren't stopping this motorcade and pulling them aside. But this is what's currently taking place on the N2 as they make their way to Ishowe. We are about an hour or say 45 minutes away from Ishowe, where we'll be seeing another support base, more supporters joining this convoy. This convoy has actually grown from 20 cars. We are now sitting at 40.
40 cars. We are trying our best to get hold of the police ministry to find out their reaction to what they are seeing currently on their screens now. So stand by for that. Jayed-Leigh Paulse, thank you very much indeed for your reporting. We'll come back to you shortly. Let's go now to Nkandla, KZN. You heard from Jayed-Leigh that convoy is about 40 minutes away from Nkandla. Let's go to Ayanda Mhlongo live for us there. Ayanda, an update from Nkandla.
Well, thanks very much, Blaine, and to our view as well. From lawlessness on the N2 to the scenes of lawlessness here outside the home of the former president, as more and more supporters of the former president continue to arrive here. The numbers are indeed growing. Of course, there are those, that group largely made up of members of the eThekwini region, which is one of the ANC's largest regions in the country, making their way here. Of course, we are told that there are other motorcades that are also coming in different directions, making their way here to Nkandla. Small group, as we told you earlier on, that had already arrived here from the Mzala-Nxumalo region, and the Mzala-Nxumalo region is made up of areas in the north of KwaZulu-Natal, Vryheid, Paul, Petersburg area. So they are here already, and we also are told that there could be other supporters of the ANC, of the former president, who are ANC members, that will be coming from other parts of the country as well. We were told that today was going to be the biggest in terms of the numbers of people that are expected to come out here. This is despite the fact that there are those who now feel that the former president can relax a bit after, of course, he filed those two applications, one in the Pietermaritzburg High Court and the Constitutional Court, but more importantly, the one in the Pietermaritzburg High Court, where he wants to stay his arrest. Difference of opinion, though, from legal experts. Some say that the order for his arrest should, in fact, continue, and today he should hand himself over to the authorities, as he did not seek an urgent application. His matter, as we know, in the Pietermaritzburg High Court is only going to be heard on Tuesday. Coming back to scenes out here, just before you came to us, Blaine, some leaders of the ANC arriving here. We've seen Tony Yengeni, a member of the ANC's NEC. We've also seen provincial leaders of the ANC. We saw Nomakoko Smelane Zulu, who is a member of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, and also the MEC for Health, as well as Zinhle Cele, another member of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC. So it looks like PEC members of the ANC will be meeting with the former president. I'm not alone, of course. I'm with my colleagues, Samkele, Maseko, Simphiwe, Makhanya. Sam, Tony Yengeni is not amongst the NEC leaders that are deployed to KwaZulu-Natal. He is. We're getting tired, Sam. We are tired. We are getting tired. He is on that list. But the question now comes in this sense, Sam. ANC leaders had said, NEC members, please hold off while we are trying to deal with the situation. Yesterday, Mtumseni Ntuli, Sihle Zikalala were then going to go and update the members of the NEC. Possibly now, is this a sign that their presence here, it means that the meeting possibly did not go as they had hoped with the former president, which now necessitates that the leaders of the NEC come down in person to meet with the former president?
The question is Tony Yengeni here as Tony Yengeni, or is he here as part of that delegation of the NEC? He is wearing that cap of being deployed by the NEC, but other NEC members have not yet arrived. You would assume that Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma would be coming, Lindiwe Sisulu, Thabang Makwetla, Fikile Mbalula, Zweli Mkhize, they would all be making their way to Nkandla, but they have not yet arrived here. In fact, when I spoke to Fikile Mbalula, I'm not even sure if he has arrived in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Even Nokawema, the convener of deployees of the province, when there is a political situation in the province, she would from time to time converge with the provincial chair, the provincial secretary and the PEC at large, and would at times come down to the province and have an in-person-to-person engagement with them to be the first-hand information person to get that information. She's not here at this point in time. So Tony Yengeni is a long-standing ally of former President Jacob Zuma. When the former president went to court the last time around, he was not there. But the previous appearance, where the Secretary General first appeared, Mr. Makhashule, Tony Yengeni arrived and said they were there 15 years ago in that court when the former president was first charged. He's a long-standing ally and friend of former President Jacob Zuma. It's no surprise that he came down here in person to engage with the former president he would have never not taken that opportunity, regardless of what the National Executive Committee or the PEC officials would have said to them to hang back. He would have come to support his comrade, his friend, former President Jacob Zuma. So I'm not surprised. Chatting to him, he was even shocked. How did he know that I am here? I just said we have got our scorpions, but we've asked him to come say a word or two once he's done with the former president. But he is definitely meeting former President Jacob Zuma as an individual, but also will be talking on personal matters with the former president.
Certainly, it'll be very interesting, and we will be updating our viewers once we get an opportunity to speak to Tony Yengeni. Simphiwe, the supporters, the numbers are growing. We already see the convoy of ANC supporters on their way from eThekwini here to Nkandla. You've just spoken to Ngizwe Mchunu. You've been moving around, seeing these numbers as they are growing. What can we expect in terms of the support that is going to be coming out here today for the former president?
Well, Ayanda and Samkele, thank you very much. Before perhaps I get to the aspects of his supporters outside, Ayanda, picking up on what my colleague Samkele Maseko was talking about with the presence of NEC member here in Nkandla, that's Tony Yengeni. Those who know, former President Jacob Zuma will definitely tell you that Mr. Tony Yengeni has a very close relationship with the former president. He comes here on a regular basis. And if you track back, Samkele, you spoke about the issue when he addressed supporters outside court in PMP, that's Tony Yengeni. He went as far as to say, when he was describing the situation in terms of the NEC, he went as far as to say that the ideological differences within the NEC are to an extent that they are basically irreconcilable. They are unable to work together as a unit or that is leading the party. So it speaks to, again, the issue of the divisions. Perhaps one may say that is why we have not seen really the people who have been deployed in this province, coming down here to actually quell the situations and quell the tensions that are seemingly rising. But in terms of the supporters, Ayanda, many of those that we've been speaking to throughout the week, and in fact even this morning, have been saying that they will continue to be here because they feel that the former president is getting a raw deal.
And it's very interesting, though, Simphiwe, that although we already now know that the former president, well, he believes that he does not have to hand himself over to the authorities, but his support is still on the ground. All right, Simphiwe, I'll come back to you on that question. Let's go back to Blaine in studio.
All right, Ayanda, thank you very much indeed. There's been developments on the N2. That's why we break away from you. Stand by. We'll come back to you in the short while. Jayed-Leigh Paulse is following the convoy on the N2. Apparently it's stopped now, Jayed-Leigh. Developments, what are you witnessing there?
Welcome back, Blaine, to the N2. This convoy has just stopped. There's also been live ammunition fired. I'm going to see if I can't just try and get the organizer, Nkandla, could try to speak to us so that we got Nkandla. If you're going to speak to us, you guys have just stopped. Where is this motorcade going to? And live ammunition in Nkandla. This is obviously illegal. It's been shot in the air.
Who shot live ammunition?
We heard live ammunition being shot.
No, I didn't. We are going to Nkandla. To answer your question, we are going to Nkandla to show our support to the president, former President Jacob Zuma.
Nkandla, also, I must make mention of the fact that you have cordoned off some of the roads, you have stopped and blockaded the roads. Why is this? I mean, people back at home are asking, why do this on the national road?
No, it's a Sunday. The road is quiet. There's no one on the road. It's empty. So we are not disturbing the economy or anyone because there's no one on the road. I'm sure you saw the only cars on the road were us. So we didn't disturb anyone.
In terms of the convoy, where are we going to now? We are approaching the shore. I'm told there's more supporters waiting for this convoy there as you proceed to Nkandla.
Yeah, absolutely. There's about 50 cars in the shore waiting for us. So by the time we get to Nkandla, we'll be over 100 cars.
And then, Nkandla, also in terms of the show of support, we know what has happened yesterday with the application at the ConCourt that appeal. Where to from here? Will there be support in Nkandla for the rest of the week as we wait for the final verdict on former President Jacob Zuma?
Our support for former President Zuma is unwavering. Whether he's going through this or going through any other trial, we'll always be supporting him. It's not going to end just this week or next week. It's going to continue.
As an organizer in Nkandla, I'm also seeing a lot of people not wearing masks. This is obviously illegal. We've spoken about this before in several other crossings. Your stance as an ANC member, and also just with regards to breaking the regulations, breaking the COVID-19 regulations.
No, absolutely. We encourage people to wear masks, but if a person decides not to do so, I can't force them.
And these large gatherings that are happening?
Well, the large gatherings are beyond my control, because it is a situation that we are faced with that is causing people to gather, because the people are seeing what is happening to the country and they are unhappy. So the unhappiness of people cannot be controlled by me. I may wish that it's controlled in one way or the other, but it's not up to me what happens.
Thank you. That was Nkandla Kutrai. He's one of the organizers of this motorcade making their way to Nkandla. If Ray and Bela just behind the camera there can show you some of the placards that are being wasted. Wenzani Uzuma, what has he done? A lot of people saying that the former President Jacob Zuma should not go to prison. They're going to stand in solidarity with him, show support and throw support behind the former president, as well as those supporters waiting in his showway. Like Nkandla said, there are more than 50 cars, 50 members of the ANC, as well as the support for the former president waiting there as they make their way to Nkandla. I'm just going to leave it there, Blaine, and just show you the live visuals coming to you from the N2.
Jayed-Leigh, I wonder if you can hear me. I know there's a full-throated song currently on, so we're competing with that in terms of me communicating with you. Jayed-Leigh, you still with us? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Blaine.
All right. The person that you spoke to now said that the road is empty, so they're not causing much disturbance on the road. Is that what you are witnessing as well?
Well, Blaine, I'll beg to differ with that regard. Like I told you earlier on, many cars that were going towards Durban had to verge off the side of the road as the cars were zigzagging on the N2. So I have to disagree with him there. I must also make mention to the fact that there was live ammunition that was shot in the air once we stopped here, just past Nkandla. He disputed that fact when I asked him, but we have that recorded live on our camera, live ammunition being drawn in the air.
Are you from Nkandla at the moment, Jayed-Leigh?
Well, then we're several hours from Nkandla. We're about 45 minutes away from Shoreway. Nkandla did say that there's 50 members waiting there, 50 cars waiting there to join this motorcade of 40. So we're quite a few kilometers away from, hours away from Nkandla as this motorcade makes their way here. But they're saying that they're going to be garnering a lot of support as they traverse through the different towns here in the northern KwaZulu-Natal. Like Ayanda mentioned earlier on, there are supporters coming from all over KwaZulu-Natal, different branches, to join and to throw support behind former President Jacob Zuma. And we'll be seeing this play out throughout the day. Okay, Blaine, as you can see there, we are about to move, so we're just going to backtrack back to the Baku. We are going to be giving you rolling coverage as we proceed with this procession. Blaine, back to you.
All right, so Jayed-Leigh, you've got our numbers. Come back to us. If there's any further developments, we'll get you straight on air. Appreciate your reporting. JLP there live for us on the N2. Let's take you back now to Nkandla, where so that Ayanda, we just went to Jayed-Leigh. They stopped for a bit on the N2. She says that she has heard live ammunition being shot off there. The person that she spoke to said that the roads are quiet, so they're not causing a disturbance. According to Jayed-Leigh, she begs to differ. She did see a few cars there having to go on the shoulder of the lane to get through there. So that's the scene on the N2. Apparently they're heading your way. What's happening where you are?
Yeah, Blaine, thanks very much. Certainly, we've also been here with myself, my colleague Samkele and Simphiwe Makhanya. We've been monitoring the visuals that are coming through from our colleague there, Jayed-Leigh Paulse, and the team that she is traveling with. And speaking about the gunshots, it's not the first time that we've heard gunshots ring out. Just a couple of days ago, Simphiwe Makhanya was following one of the motorcades, the same group coming from Durban, the eThekwini region. Again, that group are firing gunshots just before they approached the home of the former president. And in fact, right here, just across from where we are, which has been the area designated now as the camp for these members of Nkandla Military Veterans Association that are camped out here, there was gunshots that rang out there as well. So it does create this sense of tension and uncertainty, fear as well. If there are people that are moving around here that are armed, who know what the law says, you cannot fire live ammunition in crowds. So rather concerning. But I mean, Blaine, you've seen the actions of the people who are out here today, the hostility. And one point that we have not even mentioned, speaking about ourselves as a journalists and our safety, we've seen how behind the scenes we have been dealing with the hostility of the members of the ANC, turning their anger towards us as the members of the media, heckling, booing us, threatening us. That is the situation that we too are confronted with as we're trying to give South Africans a blow-by-blow coverage of what is happening here. So certainly we are taking a lot in order for us to be able to tell South Africa and give them a picture of what is happening here at Nkandla. I was just about to speak to Simphiwe before we had to go to Jade. Simphiwe, from the side of the former president, he seems to have been a little bit more relaxed today. Of course, he believes now that that warrant is going to be temporarily suspended because he has filed this application with the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Legal experts, some differ in terms of that opinion and believe that the arrest should continue because he has not filed an urgent application to suspend his arrest. The supporters here are well aware of the developments around the Constitutional Court, his application to the Constitutional Court and the Pietermaritzburg High Court. One would have thought that considering the fact that they now feel he's no longer going to jail, they would then slowly start to leave this area and return to their homes. But certainly it's not the case. Instead, the momentum is building.
Certainly, Ayanda, actually it's the contrary. The behavior here of the supporters of former president is contrary to what you are talking about. But picking up from the point of us as members of the media having, had to deal with a lot of, tensions and hostility that has been directed towards us. I remember when the MKMVA held its media briefing here through its spokesperson, Carl Niehaus, one of the supporters here was actually saying, don't ask controversial questions. It gave you a sense that, yes, we are here to actually work with the people who are here, but from their side, there's an expectation that we must sort of behave and not, ask them hard questions as to why they are breaking the COVID-19 regulations and so on.
Yeah. Sam, you've also taken a lot yourself being here, but you've held your own. It has really been difficult. And I think it's important that South Africans do understand how difficult it has been for us to bring them the story, the hostility. In fact, scary at times when people are saying we are ready for war. They were just singing now, they are declaring war. And that is really a difficult situation for us to deal with.
So I was just on the phone now trying to verify if those NEC members are coming. They're saying some of them have arrived.
Right.
They are in Durban. They are just waiting for a certain phone call to come and engage with the former president in Nkandla. I don't know if that phone call will be coming, but some of them have arrived and they are around Durban and may be coming to see the former president. But on the issues of, someone said yesterday when we had that issue with the guy wearing camouflage, they said that some of them here are not thinking straight. So let's try by all means to avoid having interactions with the members of Nkandla Veterans Association, whom are here because they are essentially here to safeguard, in their view, the former president. But some of them may not have a full comprehension of some of the things they may be doing. So let us not engage with them on that perspective. If the situation gets volatile, just pull yourself back and withdraw, but never compromise on bringing blow-to-blow information to South Africans, to the African continent, and to the world at large on the various developments happening here in Nkandla. As you can see, they were singing that song. That song is normally sang in a context of war. At some point, Dr. Nkosazana Zuma, ANC member and the minister in the country, once said she does not understand why ANC members in a democratic dispensation sing about guns, sing about killing, sing about war. Because they are no longer in a war-like situation. Because we are in a democratic dispensation now, and the war is against poverty, inequality, and exclusion, and also changing the commanding heights of the economy in the country, which is pretty much what this faction of the ANC purports to be standing for in what they term radical economic transformation. One begins to wonder, when did that come about? Because when the Youth League was still led by Julius Malema, it is the very same leaders of the ANC today who turned down the 7 cardinal pillars which the Youth League was raising of economic freedom in their lifetime, and the nationalization of the minerals of this country, the mines, and land expropriation without compensation. So the situation is volatile in a way, and this ANC in the province is failing to grapple with the situation. One wonders if the MEC of Health, who's inside with the former president right now, will come outside and speak on the issues of the lack of adherence to COVID-19 lockdown regulations, as the province as well, KwaZulu-Natal, is part of the third wave that is sweeping across the province.
Growing in KwaZulu-Natal as well. Very, very concerning, Samkele, as you are saying. So we'll hope and we'll wait and see what she says. But as you said earlier on, that the chairperson, Sihle Zikalala, the secretary, Mtumseni Ntuli, did not speak to their members, speak to the situation that is taking place out here, to at least encourage or urge people to steer clear. Continue to support the former president, but not in this manner. So it doesn't look like anything is going to change. Instead, the numbers, as we're saying, are continuing to grow here. Certainly a lot that we are expecting to take place today. Also importantly, this morning, Samkele, the Jacob Zuma Foundation issuing another statement saying that the former president is going to be consulting with his legal team. They're going to be advising him on what to say this afternoon or this evening when he addresses his supporters. So another interesting development in that sense.
This evening's address is very important to the former president's rescission application at the Constitutional Court, because he must not be seen to come across as someone who's further aggravating and fueling the judiciary, to perceive him as someone who is further trying to erode its authority and trying to cast an aspersion of doubt against the apex court in the land. Because at the end of the day, South Africa is a constitutional democracy, and once the apex courts have ruled, the apex court has ruled, each and every individual has to abide by the rule of the Constitutional Court. Because once a former sitting head of state, because even in that judgment by then acting Chief Justice Sisi Khampimpi, she spoke about the issue of the judiciary and having the former president as someone who sought to protect the Constitution and the rules of the Republic of South Africa. He is failing to do that, and that then casts and makes it easy for an ordinary South African like Samkele Maseko to one day, if there is an adverse judgment against me by any court of law, to easily not obey that that rule of the court, because then we would be entering into a terrain where there is no rules that govern and bind each and one of us to respect.
Yeah. Oh, a lot is happening, Samkele, and I think, as you're saying, that in the next coming days, what's going to be interesting to see what the leaders of the ANC are going to say. I suppose the top six are now going to be awaiting a report that will be coming from the NEC, and then possibly through the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, Jessie Duarte. She may also be addressing in the next coming days in terms of what is going to happen moving forward with regards to this matter. Very interestingly, though, that the interest around this matter is also drawing other political parties. We received a message this morning that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, as a member of parliament and an elder statesman, also wants to reflect on this matter. So a lot of people wanting to weigh in on what is happening here in Nkandla, and I suppose he's more concerned as a leader from KwaZulu-Natal in terms of the threats of violence and the threats of instability. Plain, we're going to leave it here for now. Of course, we are on the ground. We will also be meeting, our team will be heading out to meet the convoy that is coming from eThekwini, and we'll be tracking that convoy from the side as it gets closer to the home of the former president. For now, it's back to you in studio.